cold sweat in the air. Helmet cracks like a thunderous snare. Bodies collide, dreams take flight. I'm under the glow of stadium lights. It's chaos, it's wild, it's all that we need. The slap of the meat, the hunger, the speed. Slapping meat, grit, iron, hearts on fire. Breaking bones, chasing desire. Touchdown strings, a war zone choir. Slapping meat, grit, iron, hearts on fire. Trash talk flies like confetti in wind. A battle of wills, a game to the end. Hail Mary prayers, soaring through skies. The roar of the crowd, the echo of cries. It's brutal, it's raw, it's all we believe. The slap of the meat, the fight to achieve. The slapping meat, grit, iron, hearts on fire. Breaking bones, chasing desire. Touchdown strings, a war zone choir. Slapping meat, grit, iron, hearts on fire. Trash talk flies like confetti in wind. A battle of wills, a game to the end. Hail Mary prayers, soaring through skies. The roar of the crowd, the echo of cries. It's brutal, it's raw, it's all we believe. The slap of the meat, the fight to achieve. Slapping meat, grit, iron, hearts on fire. Breaking bones, chasing desire. Touchdown strings, a war zone choir. Slapping meat, grit, iron, hearts on fire. On fire.
What is good, everyone? It's your boy WETOODEEP. We are back with episode 3 of Slapping Meat Gridiron, and we have a interesting show for you today. We're going to rank all NFL quarterbacks. We're going to have a discussion about my team, the Patriots. A little bit of a discussion. They got a tough decision heading into the next week and a half as they get ready to drop the roster, as most teams do. But the New England wide receiver room is very interesting. And then we're going to end the show with a topic that many joke about, but we're going to be real, relevant, and raw with it. The NFL is rigged. And I'm going to prove to you what that means when I say that at the end of this episode. But let's start with the New England Patriots wide receiver room. They have a tough decision when it comes. I don't think after last night's game it's very tough anymore. But we are going to talk about this. Heading into last night's preseason finale for the Patriots, there was 8 receivers on the roster that really had a chance to make the team. There's probably like 10 or 11, but there's some of those guys who are going to be practice squad guys, right? But we went into last night's game, and this is what I went in looking to. Look, the score doesn't matter. Sure, we got the score. You know, our butts were handed to us, right? It's what happens when you play Ben Wooldridge and Cole Strange all game. That's a whole other issue. That if this was a New England sports podcast, and that's, you know, I would be ranting on Cole Strange, and I don't want to see him on the roster, and he was the worst first-round pick of all time. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the receivers real quick. So here's what we knew coming into the game. Most of the receiving room was safe, in that we knew Stephon Diggs was going to make it. We knew Mac Hollins was going to make it. We knew Kayshon Boutte was going to make it. And we knew Pop Douglas was going to make it. Spot 5 is probably safe for Kyle Williams, the rookie. So we knew we had 5 that were safe, right? Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, Mac Hollins, Pop Douglas, Kyle Williams. Right? So it was the 6th spot. The question coming in Are they going to keep 7, or are they going to do what most teams do and go to 6? Right? And if they are going to go to 6, who's going to be 6? Right? And the 4 guys on the battling for this 6th spot was Jalen Polk, Efton Chisholm III, Javon Baker, and Kendrick Bourne. From all means necessary, I'm going to assume Kendrick Bourne is not going to make the team. I think he's injured. That's why he hasn't been participating. That's an interesting pick, interesting choice to see what you do with him. Right? Efton Chisholm not playing yesterday gave me comfort in saying I think he's making the team. So I think Efton Chisholm's making the team. I think he deserves to make the team. He's had a great preseason, great camp, great preseason games. At times was the best player on the field for us. And so really the question comes down to Javon Baker, because Jalen Polk is apparently going on IR. So the question is, do we stick with 6 and Javon Baker stays on the team? If it were me, the answer is no. He dropped several balls that he should have caught last night, and he hasn't had the best preseason. He's had a good camp, like in practice from what I've heard, but he's been kind of non-existent in the preseason games. And so that's an interesting decision. Are we going to go 6? Or are we going to go 7? If it was me, I would keep it at 6. Because if you go 7 here, that means you're going to have to cut a position from defense. Probably from the linebacking core, which is already, there's questions. Marte Mapu is probably gone. The person, if we go 7, the person that probably gets cut would be a Fernie Jennings. On defense, the linebacker, which he's on the, we got some big guys on the Patriots. Fernie Jennings, Kyle Duggar's on the watch list of getting cut or traded. If it were me, I'm doing whatever I can to trade Kendrick Bourne, trade Kyle Duggar. See if you could trade Cole Strange. I don't know if anyone would actually want to, trade for him, but see if anyone would want Cole Strange. Yeah, we got some choices to make, as do every team does. Preseason wraps up this week, and I think Tuesday. Maybe it's next Tuesday, not the Tuesday coming up, but the rosters must be cut to 53 by Tuesday, August 26th. So this upcoming Tuesday by 4 p.m., cuts will be done. So Tuesday is going to be Black Tuesday for the NFL, as a lot of players get cut, go to practice squads. There's going to be some moving around with who we're claiming and whatnot. So that's going to be interesting for sure. Let's move over to ranking quarterbacks. Right? We're going to do my official beginning of the season quarterback rankings. There's a website. I forgot the name of the website. But if you just search like quarterback ranking quiz, it should be the first one that pops up. And then the way this works, and this is why I rank them this way and why I use this website, I typically do one right before the season starts and then after the season ends. I'll do another one based on that season and how I feel about each quarterback then. And basically how it works is it gives you it's a game basically, right? And it'll basically, which quarterback do you like better of these two options, right? And then as you pick them, it gives them like points. And I don't know the point scale behind that works, the system and how it works. It doesn't show you all that, but you do like 50 matchups or something like that. And then at the end of it, based on how things work, right? you then get your rating. Now, my ratings, every time I use this website, it typically would be how I would actually do my ratings. I just don't have to think of all the names, and this lists them pretty well. So this is my ranking, right? We're going to start from 32, the worst quarterback starting, all the way to 1, right? And I'm really not going to give a lot of justifications until we start getting to around the top half of the list, around 15 and up. So we'll start with this. We'll start with number 32, and it's Cam Ward. And it's simply because I don't have any information about Cam Ward on the pro system. I didn't necessarily like him in college. He played in the 4th best conference in college at Miami. And I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I just don't have information on him as we head into the beginning of the regular season. So for that, 32. With that same mindset in mind, Tyler Shuck for the Saints is what this website believes is going to be the starting quarterback. It probably will be. Same reason. He's going to be 31, and it's practically a tie because I just don't have any information because he's a rookie. Right? At 30, this is going to be Anthony Richardson. Even though the starting quarterback is going to be Daniel Jones, it'll be he would have been in the same situation as Anthony Richardson, right? The Colts have a really bad quarterback situation going on right now. Really bad quarterback situation going on. 29 is Michael Penix Jr. We'll see what he can do. I liked him at Washington in college. I thought he had some weapons around him. They got Drake London. They got Kyle Pitts. They got Bijan. There's no reason why the Falcons shouldn't be a good team. I don't have enough tape and enough, NFL proof that Penix is a top-tier quarterback. 28 is Tua. I don't like Tua. I think Tua. I don't think he's good. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I didn't like him at Bama. I haven't liked him in the pros. I find him to be very average in a league where there's a lot of better quarterbacks. I'm just going to be honest. And a lot of my mindset going into this is they give me 2 options. Of these 2 options on this game, my mindset, it isn't statistics that I'm breaking down. It's literally I'm the head coach. I got 2 minutes left in the game. I'm down by 4. I need a touchdown. Of these 2 options, who do I believe is going to give me the victory? Right? And there aren't very many quarterback, or there's a lot more quarterbacks. I'll say this. Tua doesn't beat out, in my mind, a lot of quarterbacks. I wouldn't choose Tua if I had to, right? It's basically what I'm saying. 27 is Caleb Williams. I believe Caleb Williams will be higher on my list at the end of the year. But as of right now, I didn't think last year was the greatest season. They did a lot to get better protection for him, and he has weapons. This Bears team could be scary. I have the Bears in the playoffs, sneaking in at the 7 seed. And so I think Caleb Williams will be higher on my list at the end of the year. But as for right now, with the information that I have, I don't necessarily think I would choose Caleb Williams over very many quarterbacks either. 26 is Russell Wilson. Not because he's a bad quarterback, but he's aging. He doesn't, as you age, your abilities go away. And I never really was a Russell Wilson fan. I always thought he peaked around like 6th best quarterback in the league, right? And so I think I wouldn't choose Russell Wilson to win me games right now. I just wouldn't. I'm just going to be honest with you. Number 25 is J.J. McCarthy. We don't have tape on him, so he probably should be lower. I liked parts of what I saw of him at Michigan. He's coming off an injury, so that's scary. I heard he's taking to this system well, and part of this is with the team around him. Do I believe so? With J.J. McCarthy, if I'm the head coach of the Vikings and I had to choose between J.J. McCarthy and name any of the quarterbacks below him. Right, O'Connell's a very good coach. I think J.J. McCarthy's going to be in the right system to learn how to become a quarterback. The Vikings made Sam Darnold look like an all-pro. I think McCarthy's going to be good this year. I don't think the Vikings will be good this year, but I think McCarthy will play fine. And that will go from there. 24 is Joe Flacco. And let's just be honest. Like we're looking like 20 all the way down to 32 are very on the same level of scale, right? And so it's not very like Joe Flacco isn't much different than a Russell Wilson type quarterback, right? And so again, I like Joe Flacco. I think he's good. I think if the Browns had some weapons, they would be dangerous because that defense is pretty good. I just don't, Number 23 is Justin Fields. I think he's athletic. I think he would be able to make plays if he had weapons around him. I wouldn't choose him over, any of the quarterbacks above him, obviously, right? 22 is Bryce Young, kind of the same way. I like Bryce Young. He's young. He has potential. Hopefully the Panthers, protect him this year. And he's got some weapons on the offense. And Ted McMillan's going to be a very good receiver for him. He's still got Thielen, who's good, right? And so we'll see how that Panthers offense works. But yeah, Bryce Young right now will sit at 22. 21 Sam Darnold, and it's solely because I'm living off the hope that Seahawks fans have that he's going to have the same season he had last year. I don't think it happens. But I got to go off of the previous season, what I saw, right? And Sam Darnold had a really good year last year, so we can't take that away from him, right? Geno Smith is number 20. Somewhat for the same reason. He's back with Pete Carroll, which was good in Seattle as a combo. I don't know what to feel about the Raiders. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know, and I got to learn how to feel about the Raiders because that's who the Patriots play week 1. So that team is one of the biggest question marks in the league because they could be, 9-8, 10-7, battling for a playoff spot, or they could be like 5-12. Is how I feel about this Raiders team right now. 19 is Baker Mayfield. 18 is Drake May. I think Drake May, depending on how this season goes, could be in my top 15. I don't think there's a lot higher Drake May could go than 15th right now in the league. But he could be top 15 for me. 17 is Bo Nix. Bo Nix has a lot of potential to get up into the top 10 if he has another repeat season of what he did last year. 16 is Kyler Murray. He's just mid. This is probably about where he ends up every single time I do a QB ranking. 15 is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's good if he wants to be. He has DK this year, but I don't know if that's enough to help Pittsburgh, do much of anything. Pittsburgh's going to be Pittsburgh. They're going to be around 9-8, 10-7, and let's see if that's good enough to make the playoffs. But we'll see. 14 is Dak Prescott. I think Dak is a mid quarterback, but this is about as high as Dak gets on my list every single time I do this, and I do this multiple times. I don't just do the list like one time and that's my list. I do it like 4 times. Just make sure these matchups are right. And so the list that you have now is like the 4th list, right? 13 is Trevor Lawrence, which is high for some people. I think Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback is a winner. I think he's on a crappy team and in crappy circumstances. And if you took Trevor Lawrence and put him on any winning offense right now, if you took Trevor Lawrence and put him on the Eagles, he would make the playoffs. If you took Trevor Lawrence and put him on the Chiefs, he would make the playoffs. If you took Trevor Lawrence and put him in Atlanta, he would probably make the playoffs with the weapons. He just doesn't have anything around him right now. I think the Jaguars have a lot bigger issues but Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. Trevor Lawrence never lost a game in his life until the national championship against Joe Burrow's LSU Tigers, which had Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors. I think Justin Jefferson was still there. I could be wrong, but that was a stacked LSU team that year that Joe Burrow won the Natty. And Trevor Lawrence came within a couple points of beating them with that Clemson team. Number 12 is Jordan Love. He might be too high. I'm being honest with you. This was a questionable. When I saw this, I was like, I don't know if I like Jordan Love. I think he's got some weapons around him. I think he can win you games. Compared to the ones below him, I guess if we're comparing it that way, I would choose Jordan Love over a lot of the quarterbacks that are below him. This is where it starts getting interesting, right? Number 11 is Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback. I don't know if I would choose Brock Purdy over the 10 quarterbacks above him, though. I'm just going to be honest with you. I like Brock. I think Brock Purdy, by the end of the year, I'll come around to like him, and he'll be around 9th, 8th, maybe 7th, right? Number 10 is Lamar Jackson, which is very low for a lot of people. It's not low for me. Lamar Jackson is not the best quarterback at all. I think he's a very good athlete, but that's not what we're ranking. We're ranking quarterback ability. And Lamar Jackson can win you games, sure. He's a decent game manager. And so, yeah, we'll, yeah, it, number 9 is C.J. Stroud. I like Stroud. And Stroud, this might be a quarterback that falls. Because this is like that prove it year for me for C.J. Stroud. He's in the easiest division, I believe, in football. In that the Texans should easily win this by like week 10. Because the Jaguars suck, the Colts suck, and the Titans suck. Right? The Texans are by far the best team in that division. This is going to be an interesting year for C.J. Stroud. I don't know how I really feel about him, right? 8 is Jaden Daniels. I like him. I know he's only been in the league for a year. This is Jaden Daniels' prove it year to me. You can't have your sophomore slump. If you do, you're going to end up like 15th next year on my list. But I like Jaden Daniels. I think he's good. I think he's a great game manager. They got him another weapon in Debo to go with Terry, which I do think they'll keep Terry, and he'll play this year for Washington. Number 7's Jared Goff. Him and number 6, which is Matt Stafford, are this high for certain reasons. If I think these guys are really good game managers, who I think, both of them have taken teams to Super Bowls, and I think they're great game managers, which is what I think a quarterback should be good at. There are a lot of these guys that I don't feel are good game managers who rely on athletic ability. Some of the guys like lower on the list. Someone like a Dak Prescott, you lose points because you're not a great game manager, right? But I think Goff and Stafford are great game managers. They also are really good at throwing the football. Now, you could argue Goff is only good because of the system that he's in. But if we're going to argue that, I'm going to be honest with you, you got to argue that with other quarterbacks higher on the list. Which we'll talk about in a minute. Number 5 is Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes is on a decline in terms of ability. He's been in the league a while now, right? And so, like almost a decade. And so he's getting up there in age. He's reached his peak, and he's going to start coming. I think the Chiefs are in cap hell next year, guys. I don't know if people realize that. This is Kelsey's last year in his contract, and I think he retires at the end of the year. And Mahomes' cap situation goes from $28 million per year to $78 million per year next year. The Chiefs are in cap hell. Chris Jones goes from like $24 to $44 million per year. Now they'll probably readjust that, stretch money out towards the end of the contract, like they always do. But the Chiefs are in cap hell next year. This is why I talked about last week. There's not going to be very many dynasties like the Patriots have for 20 years, and everyone keeps bringing up the Chiefs. They're 4 or 5, four Super Bowls in 5 years. Listen, guys, they're in cap. Like I told you, the league is set up to where you can't have 20 years of dominance like the Patriots had. They won't allow it to happen. They're in cap hell next year. Number 4 is Jalen Hurts. This was the guy I was talking about. If we're going to say Goff is a system guy, Jalen Hurts, as great as he is, not going to take away from his ability. Not going to take away. He's a great game manager. I think that's actually his greatest asset, is that he's calm, cool, collected, and can manage the game on the field. He will be a great coach when his time on the field is over. My issue with Jalen Hurts, right? And I think he's the 4th best quarterback in the league. The reason he's not 1, the reason he's not 2, the thing that I have that's a negative towards Jalen Hurts is I believe that you take, and we could literally do this. We can go start naming people down the list, and I'm about to do this for you. Take that quarterback. So let's take the quarterbacks underneath. If I took Patrick Mahomes and put him on that Eagles offense, the only change is Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. Are they making the playoffs? Yes. Matt Stafford? Yes. Jared Goff? Yes. Jaden Daniels? Yes. CJ Stroud? Yes. Lamar? Yes. Brock Purdy? Yes. Jordan Love? That's questionable. Trevor Lawrence? Yes. Dak Prescott? I think so. With that offense, I think Dak could take him to the postseason. Aaron Rodgers? Yes. Kyler's questionable. Bo Nix? Yes. Drake May? I think yes. Baker? Yes. Geno and Sam Darnold are questionable. Bryce Young? Probably. Justin Fields is questionable. Flacco? Yes. McCarthy? Not quite certain. We don't really have much information on him. Russell Wilson? Probably. Caleb Williams? Probably. Tua? That's a questionable. Penix, Shuck, Danny Dimes, and Cam Ward are probably no's. Right? But of these guys on this list, I think you can put in about 90% of the starting quarterbacks in the league in Jalen Hurts' position with the Eagles' offense remaining exactly the same except the quarterback, and that offense makes the playoffs. Not going to say they're going to win the playoffs. Not going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl. Right? And that's where I really have to take away some of Jalen Hurts is I think you have to look at the team that's built around him and point the success to that. I think Howie Roseman is the most important figure in the Eagles system. Right? Now let's do the opposite. If I took Jalen Hurts off the Eagles and put him on any of the other 31 teams, with the teams that they have, he's the only change. If he goes to the Bills, do they make the playoffs? Probably. If he goes to the Bengals, probably. If he goes to the Chargers, probably. If he goes to the Chiefs, probably. Rams, probably. But now if I put Jalen Hurts on the Patriots, are they making the playoffs? No. He's not that much better, I think, talent-wise, than Drake May is. With the team around him, I really question as much as I joke about it, even in my predictions, I think the Patriots, with their schedule this year being the third best, easiest schedule in the league, I think they make the playoffs because of that. And I just think the team is much improved. But, if I put Patrick Mahomes, or excuse me, if I put Jalen Hurts on the Giants have the hardest schedule in the league. If I put Jalen Hurts on the Giants right now, is he getting the Giants to the playoffs? No, he's not. I just don't think he will. I don't think he's that good to do. I think a lot of Jalen Hurts' success, he's good, but I think a lot of his success is around the fact that he has A.J. Brown, questionably the best receiver in the league, Devontae Smith in the slot, questionably a top 5 receiver, Dallas Goedert, questionably a top 5 tight end, questionably the greatest offensive line in football, the best running back in football, and the top 5 defense. I don't know where again, you take Jalen Hurts out of the equation, put 90% of the starting quarterbacks in that same system, they're going to make the playoffs. You take Jalen Hurts out of that system onto a team like the Giants, onto the team like the Steelers onto a team like the Browns, they're not gonna win. It doesn't, right? Number 3 is Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert, from a talent standpoint, is fantastic. He has a team around him this year. Hopefully they stay healthy. And I think the Chargers, that division's tough because the Broncos are going to be good. You have the Chiefs, of course, and who knows what the Raiders are going to be. That might be the toughest division in football this season. But I like Herbert. 2 is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is, without a doubt, one of the second best quarterback in the league from a pure talent perspective. His issue is he plays on a team that is completely incompetent. The Bengals front office is completely incompetent. Number 1, without a doubt, and I used to argue this, but I can't argue this anymore. I used to argue against him, like, oh, he's overrated. I can't argue against it anymore. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football. As a Patriots fan, I will say that. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football. He could throw the ball. I think he overthrows a lot, but he could throw the ball. Like, he's good, right? He's a good game manager. My one takeaway from Josh Allen is I don't necessarily think it's always his fault. Is there seems to be, like, the Chiefs are that team he can't get over. And again, it's not always his fault. But I think from a talent perspective, I think he's married now. He seems a lot, he's coming off this MVP season. He's now married. He seems a little bit more relaxed. I think this might, as much as I think the Patriots are, I always joke around saying the Patriots are going to beat the Bills. This is what I do. But the Bills are a scary team. This has to be their year. This has to be it. Right? If they don't win the Super Bowl this year, they got issues, man. They got issues. And I know they don't have the greatest team in football, but they got a competent team, I think. I think the Bills will be pretty good this year. All right. So there's my QB ratings for the month, or for the year. I don't know what I'm saying right now. That's my QB ratings for the preseason. We'll do one at the end of the regular season, and we'll see how they compare. We'll end this episode talking about how the NFL is rigged. And you're saying, what are you talking about? How is the NFL rigged? Let me explain. The NFL let's introduce it this way. Let's preface it this way. Football in America is not just a game, right? It's a ritual. It's, for lack of better words, it's the religion of America. Every Sunday, millions of people sit down. The extreme ones paint their faces and yell and scream at the TV. This is Samsung and TLC's favorite time of the year, especially in the state of Texas, because Dallas Cowboy fans are going to go through about 17 TVs this year. And that's exactly what they love, right? And they swear, these fans, they sit and they chant and they cheer and they go into the stadiums, and what they swear they're watching is the realest thing in the world. But what if I told you that the NFL doesn't even consider itself a sport? What if I told you that in court, when fans sued the league for being unfair, for rigging games, for scandals like Spygate or blown calls. The NFL defended itself by saying, we are an entertainment business, not a sports competition. And that legal defense has worked over and over again, which means this legally. The NFL is not legally required to give you a fair contest. They're only required to give you a show. So today, we're going deep into the lawsuits, into the business model, into the history that connects the NFL to things that are more similar to pro wrestling or even to the Roman gladiators. See, we'll look at the shadow rule of referees, the paradox of gambling, and the uncomfortable truth of what fans actually want from the NFL. Because maybe, just maybe, the NFL isn't America's most sacred sporting event. Maybe it's just America's biggest reality TV show. So let's start with the legal side of the issue. In 2007, right after Spygate broke, a Jets season ticket holder named Carl Mayer filed a lawsuit against the New England Patriots and the NFL. His argument was simple. He paid for tickets expecting fair games, but since the Patriots had been caught videotaping opponents, the product was fraudulent. Seems logical. If you pay for a fair contest and you get one, and you don't get one, that's fraud. But see, the court didn't see it this way. Judge Garrett Brown dismissed the case, writing the following, quote, fans are entitled to a seat at a game. They're not entitled to a fair game. The NFL does not guarantee honest play, end quote. Listen to that again. Fans are entitled to a seat at the game. They are not entitled to a fair game. The NFL does not guarantee honest play. That's not conspiracy theorists. That's a federal court filing. And this wasn't a one-off. In other cases, like fans suing after Super Bowl XLV, I'm not good at Roman numerals, so I don't know what Super Bowl that is. We'll look that up real quick. Okay, that's 45. Which was Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Okay. After Super Bowl 45, there was, a ticket fiasco or something like Bountygate with the Saints. The courts echoed the same thing. Buying a ticket or watching on TV doesn't entitle you to fairness. It entitles you to the event, to the entertainment. The NFL's lawyers have leaned on this defense repeatedly. We're an entertainment product, not a competitive guarantee. And this defense has worked in court every single time. So the next time you're yelling at your TV about a blown call, remember this. Legally, the NFL does not owe you a fair contest. It only owes you a show, which is what they're giving you. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. Legally standing, the NFL is registered not as a sporting business. I think they're actually registered as religion, by the way. They're actually registered as an entertainment business, legally, but I actually think they have religious exemption. I could be wrong. Yeah, so up until 2015, the NFL League Office was classified as tax-exempt 501c. Okay. Okay, so and then they in 2015 they became a taxable entity. Okay, so we could take that point away. But they are legally registered and classified as an entertainment business, not a sporting business. Just understand that, right? But can we be honest? This isn't new, right? I'm not saying this is the bad thing, by the way, that they're an entertainment business, because it's not new. It's just a modern version of an old formula that has worked from ancient times to now. The other side of the Slapping Meat Entertainment brand is Slapping Meat Wrestling, right? I love pro wrestling. Think about it, right? WWE doesn't hide the fact that it's scripted. The fans suspend the disbelief because the drama is too fun. Hulk Hogan wasn't fighting for survival, but you buy into the storyline anyway. Or take boxing in the 20th century. The mob fixed countless fights. Everyone knew it, but the spectacle was too powerful and people still bought tickets. And again, if you go back to ancient Rome, gladiator contests weren't random bloodbath, or they weren't all random bloodbaths. Some were. A lot of them were staged for political theater. The emperor decided who lived, who died, and which story got told to the crowd. It was political theater for the enjoyment of the bloodthirsty citizens, but also more so for the enjoyment for the emperor. The NFL was cut from this same cloth. It feels real, and in many ways it is real. But the product is carefully managed, the drama cultivated, the storylines intentional. Rome gave people bread and circuses. America gives people wings, beer, and NFL Red Zone. But here's where it gets subtle. Because the NFL isn't outright scripting games like it's the WWE. So how does it still control the product? Well, the answer is officiating. Refs are the league's invisible editors. They don't script the whole movie, but they decide what scenes to cut. Think about 2019 NFC Championship game, Saints versus Rams. Blatant pass interference, no call late in the fourth quarter. Everyone in America saw it. Stevie Wonder could have seen it. Helen Keller could have seen it. But the refs swallowed the whistle. The Rams went to the Super Bowl to get their booty spanked by my Patriots. And the Saints fans sued the league. And guess what happened? Case dismissed. The court said again, fans are owed entertainment, not fairness. Now, was the call intentional? Was it human error? We'll never know. But here's one thing we do know. One flag or no flags can swing millions of dollars, entire legacies, and even championships. And the NFL gives the referees wide discretion. Every year they emphasize different penalties: illegal contact, roughing the passer, holding. These points of emphasis always tilt toward what the league wants for that season. Usually more offense, more scoring, and more excitement. So while the NFL doesn't script winners or losers, it gives the officials the power to shape momentum, extend drives, or swallow whistles at just the right time. It's not a script, but it is a nudge or a shove in a specific direction. Just enough to make sure the show is dramatic. But let's zoom out for a minute, right? The NFL isn't just a league, right? It's a Hollywood studio and shoulder pads, right? Every team is a franchise. You have the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Chiefs. They're all characters, like Marvel superheroes. Each season is a movie. The rivalries are sequels. Brady versus Manning was a decade-long blockbuster saga. The draft is the red carpet premiere. They do it they even do it in these big cities like Vegas with the stages and the lights. Free agency is basically TMZ for football nerds. Will Aaron Rodgers retire? Will Lamar get paid? It was all soap opera television. And the point is that NFL is selling narratives, not games. That's why you bring in Taylor Swift, the Golden Boy Mahomes, the eternal hype machine always disappointed in January Cowboys, the tragic comedy of the Jets. It's reality TV with much better production value. Because here's the kicker. Parody, remember, that's a word I said last week, right? The NFL wanted parody. That's why this feeds off of why I don't believe another 20-year dynasty will work, because it hurts ticket sales. It hurts sales in general, right? Parody isn't about fairness. It's about selling hope. Salary caps, the draft order, scheduling rotations. All of it is designed to make sure every fan has just enough hope to keep watching, keep buying tickets, and to keep subscribing. Fairness isn't the business model. Hope is. And see, this is where things get messy. The NFL has gone all in on sports gambling. DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars. Billions of dollars pouring in from legal sports betting. You can't watch a game now without a gambling ad hitting you at every commercial break. They're sponsoring stadiums. They have their logos all over the place, right? But here's the paradox. The NFL tells the courts it's just entertainment, but it tells gamblers it's a pure contest. Right? Because there's a reason you can't bet on the WWE. You can't bet on WWE outcomes. Like, legally, you cannot bet on it. Because the games are fixed. You can join, like, DraftKings pools, but, like, you can't gamble money on the WWE or on AEW or anything like that, right? So that's a paradox, right? If it's entertainment that can be manipulated and scripted, then why? But gamblers are being told, no, it's pure. It's a pure contest, right? It can't be both. If the league leans too far into entertainment, that undermines the integrity of the betting. If it leans too far into competition, it risks losing its legal protection of being entertainment. So what do? Well, they straddle the line. To the fans, they sell hope. To the gamblers, they sell credibility. And to the courts, they sell entertainment. Somebody's being lied to, and the big question is who? And here's the truth, though, that cuts the deepest. The fans, when you really get down to it, they don't want fairness. I'll say it again. They don't want fairness. We boo when it feels rigged, but we keep watching. We rage at blown calls, then tune in next Sunday. We say we want purity, but what we really want is drama. The NFL is the perfect American product because it merges sport, theater, and capitalism. It lets us believe it's pure competition while feeding us storylines worthy of Hollywood. It's not fully real, it's not fully fake, but it's that tension that keeps us hooked. And maybe they say more about, maybe that says more about us, than it does about the league. So is the NFL a sport or entertainment? The answer is yes, both. Legally, it's entertainment. Economically, it's designed for drama. Historically, it fits the mold of every stage spectacle from pro wrestling to ancient Rome gladiator fights. And yet, we love it. We need it. Because football isn't just a game. It's a story. A story we could scream about, bet on, argue over, and live through every Sunday. The NFL isn't America's most sacred sport. It's the NFL's most sacred TV show. And that's all I got for you. Thank you all for watching. Slap and Meet Gridiron. If you enjoyed this episode, like, share, subscribe, give it a rating, share it with all your football friends. If you're on Spotify or you're listening to the YouTube version, you can put comments. If you're on, listening to the Apple version, I appreciate that. Share it around. Join the Real Wrestling Community Discord link that's in the show notes, and you can be a part of the conversation. Tell me what you think. And until then, I'm WETOODEEP, and we'll see you on the next episode of Slap and Meet Gridiron.
The roads were out of time, gliding out on the scrimmage line. The hits, the grip, the fire, the sweat, don't you dare forget. Slowly on the Friday lights, return dreams in the sleepless nights. We're here, we're loud, we're never done. Game's over, but the party's just begun.